Hello and welcome back to Schmitter Woods. Gonna check out what they've been doing at the power line and then also get some water in. So to start with, need to clear out a path that we can get the 62 in there with the backhoe. So here I'm just utilizing the grapple to kind of get some of the underbrush out. And there's one tree in the way, so I was able to use the corner of the grapple to just kind of get that pushed over and plucked out of the ground. And for now, just kind of scoot it to the side and we'll get it cleaned up afterwards. But to start with, get the backhoe back in there so we can start digging this out to get the yard hydrant in. So when they set the meter, they left a stub of 3/4 inch CTS. So we went ahead and just hooked to that, didn't cut any off, just left it as is. Could have put on a piece or adjusted the length, but we figured that we'd just keep it as is for now. So this top layer had quite a bit of rock in it, because there must have been like an old road here from whenever the mine was going. So kind of set that dirt to the side so it can go back on top, and then put all the dirt further down in a separate pile, just so we could put it back right on top of the water line and not have the rocky dirt right on the water line. Not that I think it cause too many issues, but it's nice not to have that rock right on it. So here we're going about 4 feet deep, between 4 and 5. See here, walking up to it. Dad's getting the bottom cleaned out. And seeing exactly where we'll go. So we just had a extension on that we're able to flare onto the CTS and then have that go right to a like a 6-inch nipple that we had on the bottom of the hydrant. And then we just tighten that up with a little bit of pipe dope. And then whenever we put hydrants in now, we really like to put a fence post in next to it. It just makes it a lot sturdier. So here we have a level on it that I'm just trying to make sure that we're pretty straight, so whenever you attach the hydrant to it, it's not way off. But you can do this and makes it a lot sturdier. That way you're not just relying on the dirt around the hydrant to hold it, but you can actually have it attached to that post for a more secure hydrant. And then once the post is in the ground, kind of twist it around to kind of get it squared up, just using a level again to double check that. And that's the thing with like the CTS at the bottom, since it's not rigid like PVC, you have a little bit of flexibility in that. And then we just have some wire we use like for the locating and different things that we just twisted around the post and the hydrant and started twisting it together just to tighten it up. So we put 2 or 3 of those going up here just to secure it to it. So here's kind of a look at that. So you can see that green wire there, put 3 on there. And at the very bottom we put a rock in that it sits on. And then that nipple with the 90 pointed down for the drain.
No, so far. Okay.
So just make sure there's no leaks and get water for the first time. Looks stiff.
Hey look, your drain works.
It does work. Now I just need to get pea gravel over here.
Yep.
So we brought some pea gravel in a garbage can. So just get that in the bucket to move it over. So we get it drug in and dump a little bit in, and that kind of builds a little bit of a dam around with dirt that we then put it in. So the idea with the pea gravel is you want it at the base so that whenever you go to the drain to work, you want that water to have some place to go that's not just in the dirt that's gonna get clogged up and gummy. The pea gravel will let that water dissipate and drain. The yard hydrant has some place to drain to. We put a nipple and a 90 going down. We hug the right hand side of this trench, so when we come back through to put our 2-inch line going up the hill, we can dig just to the left hand side of it, dig this out, put in our reducer up there, and then run on. So this will be temporary. We'll eventually move this to another location, but we have it here for now. So as I mentioned, this is just kind of a temporary thing. Eventually we will actually move that yard hydrant over to what will become the wood yard, and then we'll run a 2-inch line, a meter up the hill, and put in a valve cluster for the couple of different buildings that we're going to have. And we'll be able to then kind of take, put in 2-inch valves and reduce back down to 1 and run those to the respective buildings. So this just kind of gets a start for that and allows us to have some water here. Since we have the yard hydrant in, so our meter's right there. They have another water line that's right next to it. So we mark that, and then yard hydrant. So eventually we'll extend the line this way and go up the hill. So that's why we kind of went ahead and went this direction with it. So it kind of gets it back off the road and everything. So they're still working on getting the gravel back and creating that road, so I'll do an update on that today as well. A brush here along with some stumps. So we just have the tilt trailer here today. So I really want to get rid of some of this so that I can mow in this area again, because stuff's already starting to grow up again. So we're going to try to put some of this on the tilt trailer and then carefully remove it. Yeah, that's where the dump trailer is nice. You can dump and pull forward. This you can still tilt, but you have the back plate that comes down and touches, so you can't pull forward. So I'm gonna try putting a little bit of stuff on, see how it goes, and if it's too much of a pain, we'll stop there. But it'd be nice to get rid of some of this, just to help clean up this area. So I got everything put on. One advantage of having the nice gravel road is even if it's a little wet, be able to drive back there. So you can see taking this back around to the green hole. which is getting pretty full, so we're trying to come up with another solution on what exactly we're going to do for that. But able to back this over, still have a little room, and just use the backhoe to sweep this stuff off. Was able to get most of it swept off, and then kind of use the outriggers to get adjusted so I'm at the correct height and everything to be able to just sweep that off at the right angle. And we go ahead and do another couple loads just to get kind of that corner cleaned up, like I mentioned, so that I can get the mower and mow that corner there. So that's most of what I was trying to get cleaned up over there. There's a fair amount of brush there that I end up needing the dump trailer for to get all of. But while we had the tilt trailer there, we just wanted to get some of this. Then we have several root balls there that came out, and it's actually, most of the stuff is from the picnic shelter, or a little bit that they cut down to get this road in. So that's where all of this came from. And it was wet at that time, so I didn't want to get everything dragged back, so it was easier to create the pile up front, and then we'll end up doing several trips with the dump trailer to get everything back. Again, able to just get everything swept off with the backhoe. And then after, kind of take the backhoe and the front end loader to kind of get stuff pushed back. Here I'm trying to get a little bit of the corner of dirt eaten out so I can get turned around and have a good push at it, but kind of get that stuff pushed back in the woods. There. So here I'm traveling back to the 1000, just kind of cleaning up stuff as I go. We don't get to take the 62 back this way very often, but just headed back. There's a small tree I wanted to get taken out, and a corner that I wanted to kind of get started moving dirt on. So here there's a little sycamore tree that is kind of in the path that wanted to move over, so got it eaten out and just pushed it to the side. And then there's a little stump there that was always in the way, so got it pushed up into the hole. And here we have a future video on getting this corner, that's a 90-degree corner, kind of starting to sweep. So here just move some dirt into this hole and kind of got this started. There's a fair amount of rock in a lot of this, so getting that top layer, the 62 does a much better job than the little tractor. You get some of the bigger rocks, and that B2150 it just isn't as happy about moving them. Whereas with the 62 it doesn't matter quite as much, and if you get a really big rock you can always flip around with the backhoe and get it out. So this hill over here kind of started slumping off and had some pretty big rocks in it, so I wanted to get it cleaned up so that if we needed some of this dirt to fill in this hole, we wouldn't have those big rocks to contend with the small tractor. And while the big tractor is good at moving kind of that large amounts of dirt, it's not very good at the the finished work, so that's why I kind of just get a little bit of it done, and then we go back over with the little tractor to use the grader box and get everything finalized. But this gets it started. So I've hopped over to a section that's between the 300 and the 400. So that's just past the green hole. And if I flip around here, so what I'm pushing into on the right hand side is actually the entrance of the green hole, and the pond and everything is right in front of me. So here we have standing water issues on the left hand side now as you're looking at it. So basically I dig a trench along this right hand side and just pile my dirt over there, and what we'll do is take the small tractor and tilt everything toward that ditch, so it'll give the water someplace to go, Didn't check the exact ball to make sure that everything was going to hit towards the ditch or the green hole, but I think we were pretty close to where it should travel that direction, and if anything, it just gives it someplace. So here, just using the 62 to kind of grade that off so we can get through. And then we head back out. So thank you for watching. Hit that thumbs up button, subscribe, and we'll catch you next time.